Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, September 30th, and it is our weekly PGA podcast. And I am very fired up to be here with my partner in crime, Mr. Andrew Hansen. Actually, sort of the bearded one, Andrew Hansen, today. So how are you doing, man? You got the playoff finals NBA beard going, I see.
That's right. I mean, when you're grinding through golf and hoops and NFL, you're getting ready for the NBA finals. You can't mess around with grooming and shaving. I mean, there's only so much time for the priorities here. We got to grind through this field in Mississippi and build some winners.
No doubt about it. And a quick congratulations too. I know yesterday you and the missus celebrated an anniversary. So congratulations. And
thank you, good sir.
I hope you have many, many more.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are talking about an interesting tournament here. Obviously, we know, some of these tournaments are getting some decent players, but not certainly full fields or any, the main top guys. But this Sanderson Farms Championship, it's in Mississippi, and you want to give us a little skinny on this tournament?
Yeah, it's a long course. Again, 7,461 yards.
Okay.
Par 72, Bermuda putting surfaces. So I looked at tee to green because it is such a long course. So that's the initial breakdown. 4 par 5s, as you would expect on a par 72.
Very nice. Sebastian Munoz is the defending champ. He's fourth on the odds board here to win it. So, obviously has some experience there. And, when we were talking about it prior to the podcast, the good thing in doing the research, this is their 7th or 8th time playing this tournament on that course. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the 7th time that this event has been held on this course. Yes.
Terrific. So that, that gives us a good feel. I mean, we've had a lot of new events move around this year, and then with the COVID stuff, different things change. But we can take a good look at this and from a historical perspective, get an idea, who favors this kind of course. So we are going to share some of those things with you. But prior to doing that, real quickly here, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, and that's BetUS.com.pa. And instead of hearing it from me, we are going to turn you right over to the wonderful voice of BetUS and of DFS Coach Talk. Here he is.
Wake up, sports bettors. Sports are in high gear at BetUS.com, so put down the beer and make every sporting event more exciting by putting stakes on the line at BetUS. Earn bragging rights over your friends as you rake in the cash from each week's betting action. But don't settle for any other book. Choose America's favorite sportsbook with over 25 trusted years in the industry, BetUS. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, but more importantly, you need a sportsbook that pays. BetUS has your game with action on football, baseball, basketball, MMA, golf, horse racing, and even esports. No other sportsbook welcomes newcomers like BetUS with their jaw-dropping sign-up bonuses. Sign up now with promo code CoachTalk for 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. The best in the biz. Now you have the best book in the business with the best DFS provider in the business, Coach Talk. Create your account to make point spread bets, futures bets, prop bets, entertainment bets, live bets, and more. No other sportsbook is as committed to their members as BetUS. Sign up now and get in on the winning side of the ball.
All right. Thank you. And there's still time. We're going to get this podcast out there. So, just from what he mentioned, that 125% free play that you get when you sign up by using the promo code Coach Talk, no space, all one word. You could put a nice plug nickel there on that NBA final series, even if you want here, that's coming up later this evening. So very excited for that. All right. I have just called up the BetUS odds on this Sanderson Farms Championship, and it is an interesting one. You are pretty darn stout at the quizzes, but what I've gotten some feedback with the people that do listen to golf, not as many that listen to golf as basketball and football, but those that do like our little quizzes, and we keep them on the edge trying to figure out as well. So I've got to throw another one at you.
Okay.
Since I think you're like 30-1, so just so everybody knows, you're probably going to win. Let's see. How about if I try to make it impossible? I am going to make this impossible. This is going to be like throwing darts for you. You're not going to get this. I'm just saying right now. Number 21 through 25. Now I'm just being stupid.
That's a low blow. That is a low blow in this event.
21 through 25 in the coveted Sanderson Farms Championship. And all you have to do is get 2 out of the 5, and I'll let you miss 3. So I'm getting more lax on that side. Go ahead. Give us your best shot.
Oh, wow. So I gotta give you 21 through 25 without even hearing 1 through 20?
Correct.
Oh, that's tough.
Making it way tougher. The crowd is asking for a loss from Andrew.
Well, then I'm going to have to look at the pricing on DraftKings just to get.
That's fair.
Just to get in the
as long as you're not in the odds, that's fine. You can look at the pricing. I think we got you. We got you reeling here.
21 through 25. How about my man Nate Lashley?
Nate Lashley did not make it, so there's 1 out.
Yeah, he should be higher. He's won before. He deserves to be in the top 25 here.
Nate Lashley is actually
probably too far down. How about Denny McCarthy?
I like Denny McCarthy, but he's higher than 21st.
Okay.
Nice try, though. So you only got 1 more miss, sir. I hate to do this to you.
Oh, man. Well, how about a guy who just won, a veteran, Stuart Sink?
No. Stuart Sink did not make it. Shut out.
Yeah. Usually you give me the names before that.
I know.
So I wouldn't have guessed Denny McCarthy.
You're not going to get these, dude. Cameron Davis.
Yeah.
Lucas Glover.
Aw.
Could have got him.
I almost guessed him, but I thought he'd be higher than 21st.
Yeah. Charlie Hoffman.
Okay.
And Tom Lewis, for crying out loud. And Carlos Ortiz.
Man, he's 21 through 25?
Yeah.
That's absolutely not right.
I'll give you the top 20 on a quick rundown, like I would normally have done before, but we want to get you to 31 and 2. So it's Scotty Scheffler, who's happens to be my favorite. And why don't you fill everybody in, because we did some digging there, because Scotty Scheffler is one of my favorite players on tour, period, regardless of the event. And so obviously I absolutely love him here, but we do have a little asterisk here that we got to discuss.
We do. I mean, rookie of the year, great ball striker, but he did test positive for COVID before the U.S. Open. And that was 17 days ago when that positive test came up. So right. he had to sit at home during the U.S. Open. So he hasn't played now since then. So you have to wonder about how much time did he miss at the range? How is he physically? You know, from all the quotes that we read, it doesn't seem like it affected him too much physically. So it to me, it's just more about how sharp is he from not practicing as much and not playing in a few weeks. But all that aside, you know, the reason you like him, of course, is because he had such a great season. Yeah. He's got power off the tee. So that's why he's the betting favorite.
Yeah, he's only plus 900. So he is going to be chalky. I mean, some people may not even know about the whole COVID thing, so that'll even make him more chalky. But, you know, I think that I feel comfortable. He's a young man, you know, like we said, 22, 23. I mean, he's a baby. I think he just gets out there and smacks it around and goes after it. So I'll run this down for you real quick here, because there's some good names in this one. M is the second choice, by the way, at plus 1,000. So he is a very well-respected golfer. I think you'll see Scheffler and M with the most ownership. And then you got your new buddy here, Zalatoris, who played. I owe him a few shillings. He had an incredible Sunday to rally my squad in there. So I appreciate him. Then the defending champ, as we said, Sebastian Munoz. And then here's a group of guys that are playing good golf. Burns, Zach Johnson, and then you got Long, who's been tough. Doc Redman, who was hot for a while, Harmon, Ches Reavie, Corey Connors, Fratelli, Siwoo Kim, and Luke List, Stenson, Grillo, Zhang, and then we get to that 21 through 25. So that's the first 20. Can get some good odds on a lot of guys in there for sure. So what are you looking for? And let's talk a little bit of price on DraftKings and FanDuel as we look to build this out.
Yeah, well, in terms of those top guys, I will have some exposure to Scheffler, but he is so much more expensive, especially on DraftKings, that he's not going to be in my primary build just because of the uncertainty with his health and his practice.
Okay.
But, he could certainly go out and win. But I like the idea of getting a couple more of those, top 10 type guys in terms of the odds and the pricing. So, Sam Burns is definitely going to be there for me. Coming off a good week, he's a good putter on Bermuda greens, and he had a T3 here 2 years ago.
Nice.
So good course history. I like his numbers. Looking at tee to green, so far this year he's 24th, very small sample size, but he's up there for me. And then you mentioned Doc Redman. He's been great here in the last couple months. In the Safeway a couple weeks ago, he had a final round 62.
Wow.
So he's got good form. This year, in terms of tee to green, he's 21st. And for the full season in 2020, last year, he was 37th. So
he's very consistent, I noticed. That's for sure.
Yeah, so really good ball striker. Why don't I since I've mentioned a couple of these guys, let me give you the stats on tee to green.
Okay.
For last year, the full year, just the guys who are in the top 40 in this field, Scheffler is number 10. And so, again, that's why he's the betting favorite. Corey Connors, who you mentioned, is 16th. Luke List was 22nd. Emiliano Grillo, 24th. Cameron Tringali, 25th. He's cheaper here. Jason Duffner, 27th. He's cheaper here. Yeah. Munoz, who won here last year, 34th. Redmond, who I just mentioned, 37th. And then Ben on 40th. So, that's 9 guys right there who were great at ball striking last year, who are in this field. But again, in terms of the top guys that I like most expensive, it would be Burns and Redmond.
Very good. No, good points. And I think, in my initial build here, I really focused on, tee to green as well. You got to be long, you got to keep it in play. And, I guess that sort of helps all the time. But on these longer green or longer courses, it's pretty important because the difference with these pros, if they hit the ball straight enough and long enough and they have a wedge or 9-iron into the greens, they're going to just eat it up. And, if not, and they're having to hit whatever, a 7-8 iron out of the rough, it's a completely different ball game, getting the ball to stop and spin. So,
yeah. And, there's so much variance with putting. You just have to get onto the green, obviously, in regulation and give yourself a chance. We'll probably see a score here of 16, 18 under par. So there'll be a bunch of birdies, but it's tough to roll in a birdie if you're not on the green in regulation. So, that's why we focused on tee to green here, and then just put yourself in the best position to have a bunch of birdie putts. And if you get hot on the greens, then it should pay off.
No doubt. And all these guys are capable of rolling it pretty well. It's just a matter of getting hot. So I'm with you. For me, as far as my build, and I already, gave away the farm with it. I mean, I'm putting Scotty Scheffler in there as a young guy. I doubt he had, and again, I can't completely confirm it, but from what we read, I doubt he had hardly any symptoms, and I'm sure he missed a few days of practice or whatever, but I just know at that age, when you're playing great and you have confidence, and he's going to know he's the best golfer out on the field or on the course, I would assume. And I think he just goes out there and gets it done. So I'm starting my lineup on everywhere I play it with Scheffler, and then figure out how to build from there. My gut is he's going to be just a guy you have to have. If he doesn't have a top 5 here, I'd be shocked. The question is he is 12-3 on FanDuel, so I mean, and which is rough, 10-6 on DraftKings. So it doesn't make it easy building out the rest of the roster when you start with the most expensive guy, but I'm okay with it. I really like him. And then I'm going to sound like, Joe Chalk player here, but the other guy I really like is a defending champ. And I normally, me, I stay somewhat contrarian, but I like Sebastian Munoz. He's played good golf on the tour in some of the big tournaments. He's won here last year. I just think he is primed for a top 10 here as well. And so I'm going to start Scheffler and Munoz and feel like I've got 2 secured top 10s. And then the goal is to get the rest of these guys to make the dang stinking cut. It's always so tough to get all your guys through, but it is the most important thing by far.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing you sacrifice with going with somebody like Scheffler is it gets harder to get those 7K guys in to fill out your roster and be confident about making the cut with everybody. But, there are enough value plays here to work into your lineup. And then I want to follow up on Munoz because I agree, he's been playing pretty well lately. He had tied for 8th at the BMW, tied for 8th at the Tour Championship. But then in that U.S. Open, he had a final round 82.
Well, that was an unfair day, though.
It was, and that it's not a regular 82, but it's got to shake you a little bit to put that number up as a pro. So I just wonder about his confidence. Obviously, he's got the great vibes having won on this course last year, but just a little hesitation for me with Munoz because of that.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't blame you. But, the reason I'm not afraid to pay up for those expensive guys is because I happen to have a podcast PGA partner that is the best value play finder in PGA history. So now that I'm putting 2 heavyweights in there, can you give us 1 or 2 of those cheap dudes that you always find a way to skin by and make the cut?
Yeah, I'll give you 3 or 4 to choose from, actually.
Oh my God, I'm going to win all the money.
Yeah, you might. So let's start with Carlos Ortiz. He's not a value play, but he's a value price on this slate, I think, at 8,300 on DraftKings. The last 2 years here, he's finished tied for 4th and tied for 3rd.
Ooh.
So that just doesn't quite make sense to me. He's
only 96 on FanDuel, which isn't bad.
Yeah, he was 46th at the Safeway a couple weeks ago. So he's not in amazing form, but just terrific course history here.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's worth considering. And then let me give you a couple guys in the 7K range that I like. You mentioned Charlie Hoffman, and last year he was tied for 23rd here, and last week he was tied for 14th at the Corrales Punta Cana event. So, nice price for a veteran who should make the cut. Next guy in this range is Tringale at 7,300.
Okay.
I mentioned, last year he was 25th in tee to green for the season. And he's been steady here. He's made the cut 3 years in a row. Last year he was tied for 16th. So, one of these guys who just get him on the green in regulation at 7,300. If he makes some putts, he can have a decent finish. Okay. A lesser-known guy here that I want to mention is Cameron Percy at 7,200.
Yeah.
He's had 3 good finishes here in recent years. He's had a 34th, a 15th, and he was tied for 11th last year. He was tied for 8th last week. So, 7,200, he's a kind of under-the-radar guy. You could get in there and balance out your lineup with Scheffler.
Okay. And let me mention real quickly, on DraftKings, those are awesome values. On FanDuel, they're not quite as good. Cameron Percy is 8,600, and believe it or not, Cameron Tringale is 8,700. So that's even a better point for DraftKings, though, because that gives you the thumbs up that they're even a better value there. So
Right.
Very interesting. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, and then I'll mention 3 more guys who I'm considering. Jason Duffner, the veteran, we mentioned him because he was great last year, tee to green. He always is. He was 29th at the Safeway, so decent recent form. I mean, I like him at under 7,000 in a field like this.
Yeah,
Davis
8,500 on FanDuel.
Okay, solid.
Yeah.
Davis Riley is a name that I think you'll hear more and more of because he's won twice on the Korn Ferry Tour this year.
Okay.
He's from Mississippi.
Nice.
Last year he got in this event and he was tied for 39th, and he's only 6,700.
Okay.
So he may be popular with the buzz, but
he did get to play in the U.S. Open this year.
Yep.
For what it's worth, so
Exactly.
That's sort of cool. He
Yep.
didn't do great, but that was the U.S. Open. So
exactly. So
yeah,
he's he'll be in some lineups for me, and then one more I don't like quite as much. He's at the same price. It's Doug Gim is 6,700. I like that he was a late add to the field when Louis Oosthuizen pulled out. I kind of like that when you guys come in and they feel like it's a free roll. They weren't expecting to play. Now they're in the field, and he made the cut here in 2018, and he was tied for 14th at the Safeway Open just a couple weeks ago. So you put those things together at 6,700. He's another guy to put out there with Scheffler and some of these top-heavy lineups.
Fantastic, man. I'll tell you, I was looking for the opportunity. I didn't even think I'd be able to try to do it, but now with all that value, if you can go stars and scrubs, Scheffler and Munoz and Zalatoris, if you could put those 3 in there and put 3 value guys of the group that you just mentioned, that could be dangerous as all get out. Because I'll tell you what, I watched Zalatoris a little bit, being the sort of the new guy on the block and everything. That he's good. Yep. He's going to be a tough, competitive golfer on this tour for a long time. I loved his ball striking, his reads on the green. I was very impressed. That was the most I got to watch him, and I'd love to roster him again. He's 11-6 on FanDuel, which is a little bit hard to stomach, and 10,000 on DraftKings. So, yeah, I mean, I guess this is the time to play around with it. I mean, you sort of know who my chalky guys are and Andrew's value plays, so you have some time to mix it up. We're going to get this out in the afternoon, so you have all the way until tomorrow morning, but most people put their lineups in this evening before bed because it's an early tee time. Mid-evening tonight, we'll generally post, maybe right before basketball or something, because halftime of basketball will be a little too late. So we'll post all the we'll probably post the golf stuff and then afterwards the basketball stuff, just so we have it all up, and then everybody can focus on the basketball game, because we don't want people scrambling to get miss any hoops. So, but really that's mainly what I have to say. We'll have some comments. If we're going to dig some more, even deeper on the Scheffler information to make sure he's 100%. And we're still looking for that Lakers starting lineup for tonight, because it does shift some things in the NBA. So keep an eye on us on Twitter. I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. Andrew is at Language Olympic, and Shane is at DET Sports Shane. You can catch any of us at DFS Coach Talk. Check us out there on Twitter for sure. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, please take a second, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little alert button there up in the right corner, so you'll be alerted every time a podcast posts. And with all the multiple sports going, believe me, it's a good thing to do that so you don't miss any of the info before lock. Also on Instagram, we're DFS_Coach Talk, and we would love to have you join. I mean, this is the prime time for us here at Coach Talk. Go to dfscoachtalk.com, and we have a fall special, and we also have a drawing for a free monthly membership tomorrow. So this is the last day. If you listen to us through audio on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, all the different podcast outlets, if you take a minute on iTunes, give us 5 stars and a little comment, or on Spotify, all you have to do is follow us. Either one of those qualifies you for the drawing. Layton will be doing that tomorrow, so you have all the way until midnight tonight. And the winner of that drawing gets a 1-month free membership to Coach Talk. But if you want to join, then Andrew, why don't you fill us in on that fall special and how people can subscribe to Coach Talk?
Yeah, the fall special is great because it gives you a savings on the monthly, and it takes you through the end of this calendar year. And it's such a huge time with DFS with all the sports. And the great thing about membership with us is you get access to all of our sports, no matter what membership you pick. And today's a great time, for example, to jump in because you get the golf lineups tonight, NBA lineups tonight, and then tomorrow, obviously, we've got football, and we do the showdown slates for football. You get playoff baseball lineups every day. I mean, this is just an incredible time. We want to thank all of our recent members for joining and encourage you all to jump in if you haven't already. So dfscoachtalk.com to do that.
Absolutely. And we have the best group of members. It's just amazing. A lot of knowledge there, a lot of good chatter in the main chat there, all trying to help each other, get to the finish line. So we're planning on doing that tonight as well. All right. Golf-wise, any final words on the golf side of things, Andrew?
Nope. Just jump in with us for the final lineups. Again, on FanDuel, we give out a cash lineup and a GPP lineup for every sport, every slate. And on DraftKings, we give a coach's clipboard with our highlighted plays and then a bunch of pivots so you can fill out your lineup. So we will do that for golf this evening.
Absolutely. And as the early forecast for this tournament is good. So hopefully we won't have anything change that would bother that, because nothing more frustrating than when you're geared up to watch your golf lineup and then it's a rain delay. So I think we're going to be good. Looks like it's going to play fine. Also, our charity of choice here at DFS Coach Talk is mambaon3.org. That's MAMBAONTHREE.org. Certainly a fantastic charity to support. Also, through the next couple of days here, we're going to be putting a podcast together by popular demand. It's going to really spruce up sort of our Coach Talk process, explain exactly how we go about building, talk a little bit about bankroll management, contest selection, the difference on each site, how the scoring works. Even for people that play a decent amount of DFS, it's great stuff to remind you of. I mean, I go back and listen and take notes of things that, when you're rushing to get everything done, sometimes you forget. But I think that'll be really cool. Now, we do have some, if you want to check out in our library on YouTube, DFS Coach Talk, there's a good library of where we've touched on those areas, bankroll management, contest selection. You certainly are welcome to listen to those. And then we will be splashing it all over the place with this new podcast, because I think it'll really give people a chance. Now, in order to get involved with that podcast, we need you to become a member. We want to take our members and really explain just what's completely under the covers here of how we do it, how we build it, what our strategies are, what we're looking for, so that our members can think like we're thinking and win like we're winning. I've had 5.5 years. I've been blessed enough and lucky enough, because you have to be lucky sometimes in this, to win consistently over that period of time. I know Andrew has had great success, and Shane and a lot of our team. And we want to share that. I mean, that's our motivation with Coach Talk, is to have a blast, get in there, talk sports, figure out DFS, take stuff down. We want to win for sure. We're super, super competitive, but we want to just not throw it out there. We want everybody to understand how we're coming to that conclusion. So if you want to check out some of the things, like I said, that are already out there in our library, check them out. They're great stuff. When we redo this one, we're going to be talking about those things and just expanding much deeper. And then jump in as a member, even if it's for a week. You can get into all that stuff with us, see it, sort of create maybe your own way you're going to, build lineups and what contests you're going to get in. Because we're looking at sustainable winning for the long haul, not the lotto scratch ticket or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, wanted to mention that today, Andrew, and we'll mention it also on our basketball podcast coming up. And I know you guys will mention it on football as well, because it really, it's all sports. It's not sports specific. It's an overall strategy of how to be successful long-term in DFS.
Amen
so that is
that.
it. Yes, that is it, my friend. So, all right. Any parting words? Who do you like in tonight's NBA first game of the series?
Like I said, the line is tough. I'm sticking with the under.
Okay.
And hope for a close, exciting game.
And I think that I've officially picked the Lakers in 7. I'm rooting for the Heat, but tonight's game I think stays close. I like the 5 points and the Heat. I think the line's small. Vegas seems to be pushing people to want to take the Lakers. I'm sticking with the Heat, and I may put a couple shillings on your under as well. I think they're both going to D it up. So that is it for basketball and golf. Hopefully we get Scotty Scheffler out there crushing it, and Andrew's gold nuggets of value plays. And we hope you guys jump in there with us. And you can't beat when you join a tournament. You get 4 days of action. And if you can sweat out and get your guys through the cut, then the weekend becomes extremely fun. That's for sure. So thank you for joining me today, Andrew. Great stuff. And we'll be back again next week for sure for our weekly podcast in PGA. We're going all the way through the year. We're going to have the Masters in November. It's going to be, weekly golf. We're going to stay in there and grind it out like we're on the course trying to make par. So that's what we're doing there. And then we'll be back with you again tomorrow. Football, basketball, everything's back in play. So thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.